page. Like, oh my god, I'm convinced.
Yeah.
Like, this is like the
Okay.
third software application where
Yeah.
Microsoft is trying to actively silence me. Like, what?
Yeah,
you stream on your end. At least we can get like a voice out.
I'm streaming
Yeah.
on my end. Hello everyone, welcome to the stream. My name's Amelia.
Hey, what's up?
This is
I'm Alistair. Microsoft is trying to kill me. Microsoft is trying to kill me. They have locked down my YouTube channel. They are trying to silence my existence, and I will not capitulate to that which is Bill Gates and the World Economic Forum. I will annihilate them.
Okay, so sorry.
They can try and silence me all they like, but I will never be silenced. I will annihilate the... Come on, why is it not loading?
So, if you... Sorry, we are having some technical difficulties. I can't stop laughing. The one time we have you tried turning it on and off again, as someone who was working...
Two people waiting, and I'm like, no, this is so... Okay, come on. Really? Okay, I'm gonna restart OBS and see if that fixes anything. I think Microsoft is trying to kill me. It is official.
Okay.
They won't even let me screen share.
So we are in here now.
Wait. Why is the screen share button deleted? But okay, I can do it. Okay, cool. Right.
Yes.
Okay. So Microsoft isn't trying to silence me on that regard, but they won't let me stream.
Okay. So.
All right, I'm restarting OBS. I thought I had like the live broadcast the entire time. This is bullshit.
No.
What? No. Tell you my streaming perms are like have gone bye-bye. Did I get banned off of YouTube or something?
What do you mean your streaming perms are gone?
I don't think they're gone. It's just not streaming. This is so weird. I think Microsoft hates me or something.
Okay.
Because I am streaming. Like OBS Studio is on. It's just, you know, everything's just not working. So like I knew today was gonna be a weird day because I knew this was gonna be a fun stream, and then Microsoft decided to fuck. Like, I don't know. It feels like the causality gods were like, no, don't do this.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm gonna try a regular stream. One sec. I'm gonna try a different broadcast.
Yeah, just try starting.
I'm just gonna title it "Microsoft is trying to silence me."
Yeah, thankfully I've got one going. Again, we've got thing. For anyone who's wanting, if you look up in the corner, I will. There's also links in the description. We have the join link for the People's Toothbrush. Well, I don't even know if that's the right link, but you know, it's one that's generated. So we got one in the displayed above. We got one in the description. Feel free to join. Feel free to post in the comments. I will respond to them. And yeah.
Cool.
Get Apple.
All right, let's see.
Alley. What is? Okay, I need to search this up. Are you saying to use a Mac?
All right. Let's see. Well, is this live on my stream?
Why can I hear myself?
Okay. Is it? What do you mean it's upcoming? I'm streaming right now. What is this? What?
Why is it?
No way.
Upcoming. Oh, yeah, no, I'm looking at it. It just says, just upcoming. Okay, here we go, live. Let me check. Okay, yep, no, it's working. It's working. I can hear it. We're working. We're good.
Okay.
So we're good.
All right. Yeah, that's so weird. What was that? Like, oh my god. Like,
yeah, I have no
Microsoft
idea.
is 100% trying to silence me. It's like every technical issue under the sun. I'm like screaming my lungs off. Like, oh yeah, now it's uploading a new video. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. Share the new link. Let's get this link shared. Just because like there were a couple of people waiting in there. I don't know if it was just you or something like that. I'm gonna start sharing with some other people.
Fair enough. Taking the pisses. I was about to say any Apple users should get banned from the server instantly.
Trying to silence my stream. Like that is so weird. Oh my god. Like, all right. I will never capitulate to Microsoft Windows on this stuff. Like, I swear to God, they are like, I don't know. Like, it was weird. I went to the park to go work out. I was doing sprints today, and I swear to God, everyone turned into a lobotomite Florida driver today. And you know, there were like 3,000 car crashes on my way from leaving the park after I did like sprints and like sit-ups and stuff like that. Yeah, no, it's been like a weird day, and I was like, I'm already running on time. I'm pushing every stream for at 8 o'clock from now on, because like there's no ways, because like I'm gonna have to skip working out on Tuesdays and Thursdays if I try and do this stuff. But I am trying to do a new regular where I try and stream on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays, but I want to see if this works out. I'm going to try and do the streaming regularly thing to see if this actually is something I can actually maintain. Today kind of proves otherwise, is because it just seemed like all of existence was like trying to basically stop me from streaming, including Microsoft. Because as soon as I had got on my computer and was ready to start streaming, like even OBS Studio was screwing up, OVR Toolkit, where I actually use a GUI toolkit to interact with Windows, so I can see like what is going on while I animate this character. All right, let's see. Is this even working? Let's check.
Yeah, well, that's an interesting...
It's not even working. Is because yeah, even more technical difficulties. There we go. Now the avatar's on screen. Wow, this is even better.
Okay.
All right. But we're gonna recover. Yeah.
Yes.
Microsoft thought they could silence us, but I guess.
Yeah, no, they can't silence us. We can.
Because we're going good. We're going good. We're going good. Yeah. We're going strong. We're going hard, and we're never giving up. Microsoft can kiss our asses.
When we hard, we hard.
Yeah, 100%. Okay, yeah. I'm gonna get some music. I'm turning on some lo-fi's because I need to bring this back down.
Yeah. I've got some music in the stream. We got a chill vibe going.
I'm turning on some lo-fi.
Hey, could you quickly jump into my stream and just like check that it's working? Yeah.
If you could check mine, I'd definitely check yours.
I'll check yours. I'll check yours right now. Let's do this. Cross streaming. Everyone must think that we're cracked.
Yeah, no, like, well, this is all Microsoft's evil doings. All right, let's see. I'm gonna stream your stream, and you can stream my stream.
Yeah, I can see that it's working. Oh, looks good. Yeah. Check that it's working.
All right, testing 1, 2, 3. If you could check mine, I'd definitely check yours.
I'll check yours. I'll check yours right now.
Cool, it's working. Sounds good.
Yeah,
okay,
I can even hear the music twice. So.
Yeah. All right. I'm turning on. This lo-fi sucks. We're changing this up. I'm sorry, everybody who's on the stream, that I am not being a very good entertainer, but Microsoft literally, metaphorically, decided to nut tap me today, and I thought I was like prepared. I was ready to roll hard, and turned out I was not, and everything decided to fuck up at the same time.
Yeah. I'm gonna mute the lo-fi just because I've got some music playing for me.
I haven't even pulled my stream notes yet, and I didn't even get a chance to share. Like, I was so sorry, Amelia.
No,
we're gonna have to improvise a bit.
No, it's fine. We've got plenty of topics to talk about today. An hour-long live stream is not gonna happen.
Right.
At this point,
no.
Let's forget about it now.
This is just setting things up, but don't worry, like, problems always show up. I need to actually thank God for GitHub, because then I can just pull all my notes from GitHub. I love this stuff so much.
Oh yeah.
Don't tell me you're gonna fuck up to Git. I swear to God, it's just a simple pull command. It's a text file. It just has notes.
Yeah.
Copy the damn fucking repository.
Why do you think I use Google Docs? Because whenever you try to pull something from Git, you immediately get hi. No.
Yeah. Okay.
It gets worse and worse every day, I swear.
Oh.
I've had the weirdest issues with GitHub. Like, once I was trying to pull like a GitHub file to like compile it in Linux. Yeah. And keep in mind, this is more like power user stuff. So most users will never actually interact with terminal, but for me, I interact with the terminal because I like to do really weird things like make Linux look like a Mac.
Yeah, like,
But
all right, cool. Yeah, it is actually live this go around. Sweet. Okay, cool. This is
Yes.
so comforting to know, is because like everything decided. I don't know why. It's like, you know, the universe decided to scream out, "No, Alistair, don't stream. It's going to be horrible. You're going to say awful things about Microsoft and say that it needs to be cast out of existence." But yeah.
Oh, trust me. If this was just a shitty things about Microsoft stream, I still wouldn't have enough time because the 12-hour live stream does not sound like a thing. Okay.
So, I do want to make an address to my own channel. Now, the long-form content, you might be noticed that I'm experimenting with streaming lately. The long-form content is not going away. I will still be doing long-form content, but it will be focused on more high-quality long-form content. If you're familiar with any of my video essays that I had done earlier on my channel about how there's a quality difference between the times that I just basically put a camera up to my face and recorded things, as opposed to basically some minimal editing and some animations using Manim in the last video. That's not going away. I will still be doing all that. It's just those things take a little bit more time. I usually write a script, and I have to do video editing, and I try and get these things done in one recording. But these things take a little bit of time. So for the long form content, more of my coherent ideas will be cast into long form content that is easily watchable, something you can come back at a time, because I don't want to put all my ideas in a live stream, is because I know what other people do when they put all their ideas in a live stream that are like 4 hours long, and you know, they do it twice every other day. And I know how infeasible that is to go through 4 hours of live stream footage to basically recollect on what somebody said. So the long form content is not going away. It is going to stick around, is because when I want to put out like some crystallized ideas or talk about theory or something like that, it is going to be in long form content. I am trying to experiment more with shorts. We'll see how that goes around. I'll probably throw that out. I think that's actually a very effective way to grow a channel. But as of right now, long-form content is not going away. I just want to put that out there for a notification. Now, the times that I do want to do streaming, originally I wanted to do 7:30, but I think the universe basically wholesale said fuck no when I tried to get my workout in around 5 o'clock and thought I could actually finish that up. And then it was about 6:55 when I got that done. And then there were like 3,000 car crashes. So it will no longer be at 7:30. It will be starting at 8 on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. And we're going to try and go from there. I'm going to be coming up with topics on the fly. It'll probably be on the same day that I actually do the stream, which I'll release like a thumbnail and an icon about what we will be doing on that stream. But, you know, this is all experimental. I'm trying out a new media format. If anyone remembers my videos from about a month ago, I basically just sat in front of a camera recording stuff. And since that is basically equivalent to streaming, I figured I'd try out streaming for a second of a change. But so let's go ahead and get onto the actual topic of the video, which is about Microsoft. We're going to be talking about a lot of... Go ahead.
I was just going to say very quickly, announcement for my people. This is a new channel that I've started. It's specifically for my live content. I will, if you look on the channel itself, you will find my videos page. I will be posting more like, I guess like this is more of like a shoot the shit kind of thing, you know, more casual topics kind of thing. But on my channel, I'll be posting not so much theory, but more like actualization of theory in motion per se. So if you guys want to see that content, that will be on my other channel, which is also the one linked to my Discord username and all that stuff. Anyway, sorry, I just wanted to get that out the way because I did just start up a whole new channel just for live streaming, because why not?
Yep. No. Yeah, that's kind of the thing. Like, definitely go subscribe to Amelia. She's a cool person, and I like her content too. I hope she makes more content. That's going to be a cool time. So, yeah.
Thank you. So
all right, let's start.
Yeah, we should.
Let's get right into it. So let's start talking about Microsoft. I want to talk about Microsoft because, like, I have a visceral, like, It's not even a visceral hatred. My hatred for Microsoft knows no bounds. It is primal. It is instinctual. My disgust for proprietary software has no bounds. So let's talk about the evils of Microsoft. Okay, I think it's not really. I don't think anybody's not aware of the fact that what Microsoft does in industry to ensure that they become standard. I liken Microsoft to a standard parasite. So basically what they do is they infect every sector of industry until to the point they make themselves the standard, to the point that it will literally kill the host if you try and carve out Microsoft. That is the way Microsoft acts. They are like a tumor. They basically grow until they infect every aspect of the living host, to the point that if you try to remove them, it would literally collapse infrastructure.
Yeah.
It's a parasite. It's a tumor.
Although I feel like here's the funny thing is that we've already seen parts of the world that are already switching to the opposite, where introducing Windows becomes the issue and not removing it. And for example, servers. Servers are a place where Microsoft has essentially been kicked out of the market completely. This is mostly due to the fact that, well, how do I put it this way? Pretty much, Microsoft doesn't have really good stuff for servers. It's not... They limit their operating system too much. They require that you buy the 10 or I think it's 1,000 or like 10,000. I don't remember how much it is. It's a really expensive version of Windows just for servers, and the only difference between it and regular Windows is that they've basically unlocked certain parts of the operating system. Like, they haven't really... It's not like a revamped version of the operating system just designed for extra power, if you know what I mean. But it is this thing of like, it's just the absolute insanity that is, like, oh yeah, hey, we're gonna sell you this really expensive piece of software and you're gonna have to use it and it's gonna have all these problems. Whereas Linux, I mean, the most popular server tools, take for example, what's it? FreeNAS, TrueNAS, ZFS, all of that's Linux based. You don't get that on Windows. So yeah, it's actually really interesting to see that, where like the internet has run on Linux and Windows has been pushed out of that sector.
Like, basically, Linux dominates everywhere except for the desktop, operating system.
Oh, yeah.
It dominates embedded systems. It dominates. It's like I'm just basically getting some more stuff out, but it dominates everything. I mean, Android is some variant of a.
Yes, it is. It is Linux.
Yeah. It's not like it's definitely not the best one for sure, but it is a variant of Linux.
Yeah, and I would say I would
have to let a bunch
say
of
it's a
people
pretty
know
good
where the new
example
stream
of
is located at.
It's a pretty good example of Linux's capabilities, but another one which I think is an even better example is smart home. Like your lights, thermostat, your smart air conditioner, any smart speakers or anything like that. That's all running Linux, almost guaranteed.
Yeah.
Unless it's running like some really custom piece of firmware. But
yeah,
in 95% of the time, it's running Linux.
Yeah, and the interesting thing is that you'd figure, I don't know if this is a failure of the left, but I would have figured there would be a stronger leftist presence in the Linux communities, because right now, if you look at most Linux open source areas, they seem to be dominated by elitist, snobbish libertarians. They have a smug sense of superiority that they feel super smart for using an operating system, but then they turn around and bitch and whine when they get no industry support. Okay, if you want a broad desktop operating system, it has to have some market. It has to have a good user base for industry to start taking a notice to it, right? And I get Linux is not necessarily the best standardized, but yeah, it needs to be more palatable to a broader market or a broader audience, rather than just basically restricted to a couple of basement dwellers and bugmen that just sit at terminals all day. I mean, it's a lot better. Linux, I use an Ubuntu distro. I use Kubuntu, and it does exactly what I want it to do. I use Kubuntu on one of my computers, and then Pop OS on another one. And for most intents and purposes, they do their job just fine. I have never really had a problem with either one of them. They do their jobs just fine. They compile things. I test my own code on there to make sure that it's cross-platform, compilable and stuff like that between GCC and Microsoft's compiler set. But overall, the only downside about Linux is gaming, and I think but that's a huge market for desktop nowadays. which was funny, is because if you go back to, say, like 2018, Microsoft largely neglected PC gaming. Like a lot of their franchise games, like Halo, they were not on PC. They were dedicated to their console. And then after a while, they realized, there's a big cash cow after, I believe, what was it? There was some Russian Halo game that people modded the shit out of. And so basically they made it a Halo 3 clone, and Microsoft was like, wow, this is a pretty huge cash cow if a bunch of people in the United States are remaking Halo 3 as a mod. We'll make the Master Chief Collection. So like a year later they released the Master Chief Collection. It did fairly well, and since then it's kind of been orienting gaming towards Microsoft Windows. I think they realized after a while that it was actually a huge cash cows because they got like the head start advantage that most desktop operating systems are Microsoft Windows, and so they could port a lot of their games.
I think it's a bit more complicated than that. Like
fair
so
enough.
Just because one of the things I wanted to address earlier is the whole like snobbish Linux community. I do see that as being a big issue, and I also think that like there has to be some standardization within the community. I am a huge proponent, for example, of Flatpaks and app images because...
Oh yeah, Flatpak is great. And for anyone that might not... Go ahead.
Sorry.
You want to explain it, or you want me to, explain
that? Perfect timing, because I was literally about to explain what the fuck a Flatpak is.
It's because most people don't know like how package managers work.
Okay, so here's the thing. Flatpaks and app images are meant to be like the closest thing possible to... what we see with Windows. So like how with Windows you have executables and MSI files, and they can either run portably or installed. Well, that's what Flatpaks and app images are to Linux. And the best thing is they're what's known as distro agnostic. So it doesn't matter if you're an Arch user, Kubuntu, Mint, Pop OS. If you run Fedora, why would you run Fedora?
Maybe you're one of those Linux bugmen that I keep referencing.
Anyone who runs Fedora, honestly, at this point, they can just be shoved into a nice white padded cell.
Makes sense.
Yeah. Literally anything else. It's just meant to be a thing that, like, you use a Flatpak, you install the program you want. It doesn't care what operating system you're on. It just figures all that out in the background. And that way you can have a consistent experience between operating systems. And I will say a couple of other things that have, I think, brought standardization along quite well is Valve with Proton.
For sure.
That's done a really good job of, because even if you make a game for Windows, you can just add Proton into it, and then you've got a good operating, a good basis that can run on Windows, but then it'll run great on Proton. And if you want, you can also just make a Linux version, and you're good there too. I know some games actually have a Linux version, and it's just a thing that calls to Proton constantly. So it will use Proton or it will use Wine without being a Windows application. Yeah. Which is actually one of the cool things that Linux can do, is you can use different parts of different programs, which is quite nice. It's why I have OBS on another computer for recording. And the reason I have it that way is because I can tell it, hey, I just want you to grab this from the Opera browser. Don't care about anything else. And it'll go, okay. It really doesn't care.
See, Windows is trying to do their own little package manager these days too. I think it's called WinGet or something. I've never used it. But,
the problem with WinGet is that WinGet is what I think is... I actually love WinGet for one reason, because it highlights Microsoft's biggest issue. And that is that they don't really know what people actually want. Because here's the thing. It's too complicated for the average person. Your average person is never going to touch the terminal. Yet it requires...
Oh, no, for sure. Most people aren't.
Yet it requires you to touch the terminal.
Yeah, but... I think what they're trying to do is win over the developer community, right?
Yes, but
And the reason I say
but you've literally hit the problem with the second wall there. It's too simple for the developer community.
Because like that's one of the things, right? With like the difference between like the Linux terminal and like Microsoft's command line is Microsoft's command line is garbage. They've tried to mimic certain aspects of the Linux operating system, and the only reason I know that is because I've had to deal with like nmake files, which is basically Microsoft's version of make, and it is garbage. It's watered down. They don't even do it properly. Yeah, and even their compiler system. But still, interestingly enough, the reason I think they want to win over the developer community is because the fact is they're trying to do what they always do, is they're trying to basically put themselves into industry where they can basically snuff out competition. That's kind of the interesting thing about the direction that Windows 11 is going, is because it's effectively going to be like, if you haven't been paying attention, I watch this guy named Mental Outlaw. He's kind of a libertarian, a libertarian or something like that, but he does bring interesting points about like what Windows 10 is not much better, to be honest, but Windows 11, even on the boot process, it requires you to type in an email address. I'm guessing it has to be like some kind of Google or verified email address. They're basically trying to lock down.
It has to be specifically a Microsoft account.
Yeah, they're basically trying to lock this shit down, and Microsoft knows what it's doing. They basically want to get as much metadata off of its user base as possible, and they know they can get away with it because they have locked themselves as an industry standard. And this is why I call Microsoft a parasite, is because the only reason that they exist so widespread is because they basically shut down. Like Microsoft Office is industry standards. If you work any Office job, you probably have used Microsoft Office. You don't use LibreOffice. But that's because Microsoft has made a dedicated effort making themselves the standard.
Yeah, although I do feel like a good part of that is changing. For example, since a lot of it's moving to online, like it's moving away from Microsoft Office towards Google Docs. Not saying that that's any better in terms of like data collection and privacy and whatnot. But it's showing that Microsoft is losing their stronghold because the problem is that they don't know how to adapt. They really, and on top of that, like LibreOffice for people who need like a more hard, like a more intense thing, well, it's also starting to win out. Not just because for a while LibreOffice was trying to like copy Windows, was like trying to catch up to Microsoft Word, Excel, stuff like that. And now they've started like just kind of doing their own thing too, which I think is really changing it. Because especially since it's a community program, if you can make things that the community wants, well, the community will come. But even like, sorry, my brain sometimes just decides to melt.
No, it's okay.
But
no,
yeah,
it's all good.
Yeah. It's also like with like multiple other things. It's just in general, like looking at just that factor, but also looking at other factors. They're losing their stronghold because people are finding alternatives such as Linux, and they're finding they enjoy a lot more of like Linux. And there's also another problem that like Windows 11 has highlighted, and that is that if you own a computer that's even like 5 years old or 6 years old, you can't use modern Windows properly. I actually the most glaring version of this is my 2007 T400. Yes, it's an old laptop. It is ancient by today's standards, but using Linux, I can use it. I literally use it as my writing laptop when I'm like not just writing notes and stuff, but even when I'm like writing documents or spending long hours doing something or anything like that. Well, I will end up spending hours and hours on end using the T400. It is an old laptop. Yes, it is a very old laptop, but being old, it still runs Linux just fine, and it's actually fast enough to still watch YouTube and stuff on.
Okay.
And it kind of shows that like Windows, like people are noticing that too, that Windows is becoming a lot more inefficient, and that Windows is becoming like only for your brand new higher end PCs, which also means that anyone who like is an older person who or is in a lower economic position who can't afford to buy new laptops or can't afford to buy new parts of the desktop all the time, well, they're going to end up being the ones who end up moving to Linux because their 5-6-year-old machine, well, now they can run the latest games on it still.
Yeah, like, the thing, I want to believe in the year of the Linux desktop is because people have been saying that for ages, right?
Yeah.
And so I would love to believe it. I don't think people are going to individually move to Linux. No. To be completely fair, I don't think it's going to happen like just automatically and people are like, you know what, I'm going to take it's much more complicated than that. Microsoft has industry support, they have industry partners. Nvidia and Microsoft practically circle jerk each other, and so the thing is that when it comes to moving to a new desktop operating system, it does need to query the audience, the grouping, the user base effectively, as well as like the industry support, and that's the difficult part, as I don't think you're going to be able to get away with that with capitalism, which is why I say, like, you know, I don't think this is going to be like, I mean, you can like,
it's this thing of like, there's already a lot out there that you can get away with thanks to capitalism. The good thing about Linux is that because of the fact that it's so open source, even Nvidia has been not able to have a stranglehold on Linux because of the fact that like people have gone, well, no, fuck you, we're writing our own drivers now, we're reverse engineering your shit, and we're actually writing the drivers, we're, you know, writing everything up. Also, I like what NecoArc says. So yes, you can take the crappy netbook that your ex-boyfriend gave you and you can, well, not so much make it efficient, but you can make it work. You can use it more. Because, I guess a good example is, like, idle usage. If you take, for example, Kubuntu, which is the operating system I run on my iMac, which is from 2011, by the way, so it's not brand new. If you take that and compare it with, like, Windows, you're looking at like maybe I've seen decreases to like 6-7% in just usage from the operating system itself, and that's not even accounting for things like program efficiency, because if you have a native Linux app, it can be a lot more efficient than a Windows app, since Windows requires it to basically tell the operating system everything it's doing, and it can never access the hardware, and it can never do anything by itself. It must go through Windows, and they will make sure of it. Whereas Linux would just be like, okay, this is what you want to do, here you go right ahead and do it. We'll just stand by and watch, make sure that you're doing it correctly, but other than that, we're gonna let you do it. We don't have, you know, it's not being the middleman.
Yeah. But yeah, alright. Let's see. No, I want to see, because like I said, like the software support is like the big major one, and then you know, honestly, I think maybe like if the Communist Party, if like we had a Communist Party, we could probably do like funding towards this kind of stuff. I'm not sure if that's actually feasible. You know, personally, I'm trying to think of like some personal solutions, like how open source can get the support, right? It's because like I noticed the software ecosystem, when it's done on open source, it's just usually infinitely better. Like I use Kdenlive for my video editing. I use Open Broadcasting Studio. That's open source. I mostly use like open source software for most of the things that I do. And so, you know, I know that open source has quality. It just doesn't have support. And that's kind of the thing, right? Microsoft gets money thrown at it by literally every aspect of society.
I would say that, like, on the contrary, because here's the thing, I like to say that Linux is basically, it is basically a good example of like a socialist or communist system working, because it is entirely community based, it is entirely open source, but the support is actually really good for it, because
for sure.
And I would actually argue that it's better than Windows, because Unlike
in a lot of ways, yeah.
Because with Windows, if you've got an issue, you can talk to Windows and hope that there's an article online that will solve your issue, or you've just got to email Windows and wait. And hope that they get back to you, and hope that they fix your issue.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Whereas with Linux, you just do a Google search online or post on Reddit, and there'll be about 20 people saying, oh yeah, no, I've actually had this really, really, really specific problem before, like 5 years ago, and here's actually how I fixed it, so give this a go. You'll have to change this because it's this version and not this version anymore, but the rest should still work, and next thing you know, you're back up and running. Whereas with Windows, you're still waiting for Microsoft to get back to you, and no one else can help you fix it because no one else can see the bugs.
Yeah, no, it's all proprietary. Like, that's the great thing about having open sources, because like the transparency, like anybody can see it and basically be like, you know, anybody can throw their brain cells at that kind of problem. That's one of the great things about open source software, that proprietary software just doesn't have. You know, the interesting thing is, because I had a discussion with one of my friends about this, and they were a huge they said, like, well, open source is nice, but I think, you know, when it comes to certain things like you know, software that's built around security, proprietary software, you know, is better. And I thought intuitively that was at first, but I was like, no, not really, not anymore, right? It's because, like, when it comes to a lot of security protocols, like, you know, the better brains at that, it usually often involves some kind of like mathematical, you know, problem solving. You know, well, I'm trying to think of an example.
Take for example, HTTPS or password managers or anything like that. Bitwarden is an open source password manager, and it's completely secure. The reason that, like, there's this myth is because like there's been this propaganda that's been put out of constant propaganda that that like closing the code and not allowing people to see the code makes it less secure, whereas it's actually on the contrary, because if you open source the code, more people are staring at it and more people can see security things. A lot of the time, the code generates the security. So if you take two instances of, for example, OBS, or actually even better, take two instances of Kdenlive with their login manager. Well, your version of sorry, not Kdenlive, Kubuntu, or KD, actually even better, KDE Neon. It's even easier for me to say. I can't screw that one up.
Yeah, it's all good.
But yeah, so both instances of KDE Neon, yours will have a different hash algorithm to hash key in that to mine. They both use the same algorithm, but they generate all that stuff locally, and that makes it super secure. And people can see if, hey, there's this massive bug here that like is actually there, and that can be exploited. This was recently discovered in Linux when there was like a bug that was like, I think 13 years old or whatever, a really old bug in the kernel. It was discovered, and people were really quick to patch it and really quick to fix it once it got discovered. And that's really important. But actually, that leads me on to one thing that I want to bring up, which is that I feel like there's a lot of propaganda about Linux, but it is very well designed, because it targets the qualities of Linux and turns them into tools for negative propaganda. For example, there was a recent article that was made by, I can't remember which paper, it was a while ago I saw this article, but it basically said that like Windows only had like maybe like 58 bugs, Mac had like 12 or 13, and then like Linux it was like 14,000 or something like that. The difference is that I actually did some looking into like how it was getting these numbers, and it was going on like bugs that were like reported, so actual bugs reported, not based on like any external evaluation. Whereas you know, it doesn't take into to account for a fact that no, there are way more than like 75 bugs in Windows. There's probably close to Linux's level of bugs in Windows, if not more.
Oh, wow.
And I'm willing to say that because of the fact that if you have ever used Microsoft for anything more than browsing the web, you will immediately run into Bug Central. I know because once I literally tried to edit a registry key related to the hardware and somehow lost the taskbar.
Oh my god.
I don't even know how that happened, but it was the worst. It was the worst day because it was the day I was doing an exam. I literally had to do the exam like on a fucking on like a laptop that my parents had spare.
Yeah.
Which was literally a $300 all-in-one, 300 Australian by the way. So no, I think it's like $100 American or whatever.
Yeah.
Cheap. But it's this thing of like you know, you've got all that but then as you like oh yeah, they are so awful. Sorry, Neko just posted in the chat.
Yeah.
The big thing is that like you know, there's way more bugs than that, but those were the only ones that were reported because people can't see if there's any bugs, and the reporting method is tell Windows tell Windows the issue and let them sweep it under the rug for you.
Yeah.
Same with Mac, but to an even more harsh extent because of the fact that their operating system's so locked down that all the bugs that are being found and reported, well, they can just say, oh, that's because you did this, or that's because you did that. Oh, that's not a bug.
Yeah.
So not only can they sweep it under the rug, they can just outright tell you, they can just gaslight you.
Yeah.
Whereas Linux is like, hey, we're not going to gaslight you. We're not going to sweep it under the rug. You know,
Yeah, it's all open source, so you know everybody can point it out. Yeah.
Everybody can be like, hey, that's not meant to be like that, or that's probably gonna break. Actually, no, that's definitely wait, it's already broken. Okay, let's fix it. Which is literally how it is. I've actually seen that kind of thing before, where people in the chat were like, oh yeah, that looks like very precarious code. It looks like it will break. Sorry. And then people would put, and then like a couple of days later you just saw people saying, oh no, that code is breaking and that code is going to break like any second now. And then literally hours later you just see people saying, yeah, no, it's broken. Like you just see this progression of, oh no, it's breaking, broke. Which is just like the best.
So do you do any programming for, do you do it just as a hobby or do you do it professionally?
So I do it as like a side hobby. I mostly just program small things, so mostly like, I mess around with like some MIDI stuff, mess around with some Arduino things, some small Python programs. Python's my main language, which is honestly quite good because because I've tried some other programming languages, C comes to mind. Well, C comes to mind and immediately gives me Vietnam flashbacks.
Yeah.
And then there's also, I mean, there's also like worse languages to learn, like assembly.
Yeah. There's like a whole bunch of assembly ones. I know, like, if you try to learn Intel's, I think it's like Intel's standard x86, it is the most disgusting assembly language you'll ever see because it's got like this 200 opcodes or something like that. It's like insane.
It's not just
like,
it's not just the opcodes. It's also the fact that like there are way better ways to do things, and Intel was just like, oh yeah, no, we have this.
We do it for backwards compatibility.
No, it wasn't even for backwards compatibility. It was just for the fact that they didn't know what they were going to be like doing, so they were like, we can just like, you know, have it so that in case we add a feature later, so that we don't have to worry about backwards compatibility for the chip, let's just make something that can do everything. And then we'll worry about it all later. And the instruction set basically, as it turns out, that's not a good idea. Because the instruction set is now heavily bloated.
Yeah.
You can just write anything and everything. It is insane. But I mean, there's also like other weirder inefficiencies. Although it's even funny because like x86 is not exactly x86. So Intel standard of x86, well, the standard that is now produced x86 is just the base standard now. But now both companies have their own versions of x86, both Intel and AMD. Of course, packed with their own features. By the way, a quick side note, if you are going to install Linux and you're upgrading your graphics card, go for an AMD. Saves you a whole lot of time on Linux.
Yeah. I mean, there's still some problems with AMD. AMD's drivers are just typically garbage. I'm going to be kind of an ass about that, but yeah.
No, not really. Look, they're garbage from the kernel, but once you install them from the Adrenaline software or anything like that, they're pretty fine. It's just that the built-in kernel
like on Windows and Linux, right? I have
kind of basic.
I mean, I have an AMD GPU, and I toy around with the Vulkan API, and when I actually query for I think present modes or something like that, I forget what it was, but one option was not actually reading correctly. It might just be it either is like a device issue with my actual specific GPU, but it was basically saying these are the supported modes, and then it would throw a fit saying this mode isn't supported when you actually pass that value. Like there are some driver errors. I even sent that shit to AMD, but they just still haven't patched it.
Yeah, it's probably an issue with it's probably
could be an issue with just my local GPU, but yeah.
Yeah, it can be that, or sometimes some distributions don't like to play nice in all cases.
Yeah.
Which is a fun thing.
Sorry. It was funny. It was funny. It's because the present mode that it. Oh, go ahead.
I've just seen I cannot read your name. Let me just go ahead and disable this. I don't know.
Promethean?
No, not Promethean. Promethean, sorry. The name just kind of just glitched out for me.
Yeah. I think the way Discord handles it now is that when you're streaming, it basically blurs out everything but the first letter. And so once you transition to the full user ID name instead of the numbering system. I don't know why Discord decided to get rid of the numbering system. I like the numbering system, but now they want you to have a unique username.
Yeah, I think it was more of a thing of I think they just fell into the trap of doing what everyone else does with usernames.
Mm-hmm.
Although I also see why they did it, because the discriminator system is unique and it is nice. But it does mean that if you're developing a system that's meant to be intercompatible, let's say you're developing a chat app that allows you to access Discord, WhatsApp, and Snapchat all at the same time, or something like that, or does Discord, Telegram, Signal, everything like that. Well, the problem is that everything else uses usernames, so you just need the one box to enter your name in. Whereas Discord requires the discriminator, and so you would have to enter both in, and then you would have to pass for that.
Or if you have the user ID of the person, then you could do you can't do much. You can track the user ID, but I don't think you can add people with the user ID, the number thing.
If you're trying to make a chat app, something that has to interact with the account directly, you can't.
You probably have to use user ID.
You would have to use the username with discriminator. So I do understand why they changed it.
Okay. I didn't know that.
Well, because you're logging into the account, because you're not just sending in, because you've got to send and receive messages.
Oh.
So that's kind of why they did it. It's kind of hey, let's just streamline things. There are much better ways they could have done it, but that's the way they chose to do it. It's not great, but could be much worse.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. I mean, like, granted, if you got early enough in, you don't have to put a bunch of numbers on your name if you have to use a unique username from now on.
Yeah, well, I just made my name unique enough that, how do I put it this way? I got my name.
Yeah, for sure.
Also, sorry, the Windows 11 GIF that has been put up is just top tier. I can't show it on the stream. Shit.
Oh well.
Yeah, not a big problem. I'll probably put it in like post when I do like the DVI edit. Which reminds me.
Yeah. I wonder how you do this whole live.
I'm not even
like. So I was watching some videos on how people do live streaming, right? And from what I can tell, like the reason why I don't want to get too deep into the live streaming stuff is because the ones that are actually successful, they're doing it like almost every day, right? And like, oh my god, no, like if I was paying attention to Vosh's chat because I'm in his server and I pay attention every time he streams. It's like literally every other day, and that's practically another full-time job and that kinds of stuff, but. Yeah, I don't know. I want to do streaming on like a semi-regular basis because I think it would be a good time to basically bring people in, have a good conversation, have a good time, like have a small community session or something like that. Because I don't know, I kind of like that aspect of it. Not necessarily have like a large, super large audience of people, but the point where you can still interact with people on like a one-to-one basis without having to do that super chat shit. And so I kind of do like that is because like you do feel like you have like a more of an organic community if you do that, but
yeah,
no, I'm not trying to change my channel to like a purely live streaming. It's like I don't want to do that.
and like I think there is always a good thing with the good thing about live streaming is that like it's a great way to interact with people, but there is also non-live streaming content. Like for the people who stream daily, like it's not a viable thing for everyone, but I do also find that like streamers who stream once a week usually get pretty good success, but you can also go from like streaming. You don't have to like start out streaming daily, so you can just stream once a week. Some people watch, and then once you get big enough, then you start to want to stream every day type thing. I'm still new to the thing. I'm still trying to kind of gauge how to actually stream and engage with an audience. I was kind of a little bit worried, is because when I was first starting out the streams, I'd had people come and they'd leave comments and I'd interact with them, but I was afraid of saying their names because I don't want to like. I was afraid of like, because some people are like super shy and they don't want to be like mentioned on like camera or stream. Because I have this one friend, he's like, I don't want to be mentioned like anywhere. I'm like, okay, cool. And then I realized like some people actually, well, I mean, if they're typing a comment, they probably want to be interacted with in the first place. So. That's what I was like asking on like the last stream. I was like, "Do you want me to say your name?" Is because like I have no problem saying that, but I'm always worried that like somebody doesn't want to be like brought up on stream, and they just kind of want to like have the information to it. Because like some people are just shy like that. Yeah, no, that's fair.
So yeah, no, I'm new to the whole streaming thing. Like I said, I don't want to do it. I might just do it either once a week or maybe 3 days a week. I don't know if it's gonna be 3 days a week. I'm just trying things out. I might try it for like a solid month of basically streaming on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays, because that gives like a little bit of time between the two, right? It was a bit of a hassle trying to, the hassle to work out and then like basically get a shower and then set things up. Actually, today was a special day. It's because I don't know why there were so many difficulties in just getting this thing set up. It's like it was so annoying, but hopefully like those issues doesn't show up again.
And I'm glad we got them sorted out. Also,
oh, for sure.
Yeah, moving back into it, Neko has asked another question. Is that how I pronounce your name, by the way, Neko? That's right? Cool. Yes, Windows is not exactly like forcing you, as in like you have no choice, but they're making it harder and harder to stay on Windows 10. And in a way, I guess you could say they are for like, I would say yes to that question. Are they forcing people to do Windows 11? Yes. Like they're not directly forcing people, but they're killing support and they're making it
and
they haven't bugged you yet into upgrading, it's because your computer's not compatible with Windows 11. Or
Yeah.
or in reality, it is compatible with Windows 11, but thanks to their arbitrary shitty requirements, such as your CPU needs to be on a special list saying it's good, then you can, then you won't get the notifications. Which is insane. That literally your CPU needs to be on a special list to upgrade your computer.
Okay. Yeah, no, like that's one of the. Aren't they requiring like TPM 2.0? They're requiring like a bunch of stuff that it's actually kind of like a little bit creepy, the requirements that they're placing on your computer. I mean,
yeah, well, TPM kind of makes sense
TPM
because it's
TPM does make sense, but yeah.
Secure boot makes sense, but for example, the I'm not special enough. Yay. Just the spite on that yay, I can feel the dripping levels of like just spite coming off of that yay.
Yeah. Oh my god. Yeah.
But yes, the thing is that like the CPU requirement list is because of the fact that they want like people to buy computers with Windows 11 on them. Because the thing is that if you upgrade your Windows 10 computer, that's one thing. But if you're buying like Windows 11 parts, well, not only do they make money off those sales, but also by you buying like the Windows 11 computers, it makes it a lot harder to move away from Windows 11 because a lot of those computers will be built around Windows 11. Which means that they won't be as performative as like your desktop. So like if you buy let's say you buy a pre-built computer designed for Windows 11, well, its BIOS is going to be designed for Windows 11. Everything is going to be designed for Windows 11, and that's going to make it a lot more difficult to like just one day go
branch
back to
out,
to like go back to Windows 10 or branch out to Linux or anything like that. You're kind of stuck on Windows 11 because everything is trying to push you towards it.
Yeah, like I'm not happy about the way Microsoft is taking the direction of things, but you know, what can you do? That's right. Establish a dictatorship of the proletariat. The Communist Party must seize power, and then when we can seize power, we can basically nationalize Microsoft and turn their GitHub repository of Microsoft Windows on public.
Yeah, well, that's actually a good point. Is that like but I feel like the biggest thing with like things like Linux, the way you're gonna get people on them, I found as someone who has been a big advocate for people using Linux, is you kind of just need to you've got to be open to them taking baby steps and stuff like that. If they have problems, it's not, oh, it's your fault, or oh, use this. One of the things I found most annoying was when I was first like using Linux on another computer. I asked, hey, I am a person who uses this program. Is specifically it was I can't remember what it was at the time, what it was now, but essentially I basically posted online that, hey, I was wondering if it's possible to or how I would go about using this program on Linux. Is there a Linux version? Do I have to install it some way? Do I have to do anything special? And a bunch of people said, oh, use this instead. Oh, yeah, use this instead. Oh, use this instead. It's like, but that's not what my question was. My question was, this is the program I'm using. I want to use it. How? Like, it's as simple as that. And, eventually someone came back with an answer. And, like, yeah, it took me a while, but I eventually got it installed and used it, and it was all good. But But yeah, that's the thing, is like, I had a lot of trouble because people kept suggesting things that weren't what I asked. If someone
weren't relevant, nerds have a tendency of doing that, and it drives me up the wall when you ask them for something and they just go on a tangent about something. It's just people, I suppose.
I feel like it's because of this thing of like, because Linux has been like such a counterculture thing. It's like with some punk listeners and stuff like that. It's like, because it's like a thing that like they see these people coming in with like things like Proton and stuff like that, who are having an easier time in Linux and everything, and it's kind of this thing of like, oh well, you know, I had it so easy and you have it like this and stuff like that. It's just old mentality and habits. It's not always like a big like gatekeeping thing. Like, yeah, there is a fair amount of gatekeeping involved, but a lot of it is just old mentality of, oh no, you have to have it hard, and there's no way to run Windows on Linux and everything like that. And so like, yeah, old habits and old things just die hard.
Fair enough. Alrighty, I think that was a pretty chill stream. I actually like this. This was a pretty chill conversation. Like, I know this was like more nerd stuff, but I actually do prefer like conversations. Like, I actually kind of want to get in some more agitator debates. I need to get another debate. The last person I debated was Kareem, and that was one of Infrared's mods or whatever. I want to get in a couple of more debates. I just got to find out who. Because I'm kind of in the mood to get my blood pumped. You know.
I feel that too.
I might actually stop by the politics server. I wonder if I can like challenge somebody to debate. I know they hold like formal debates and stuff like that. That would be a fun thing to do. But yeah, no.
I mean, I was gonna say at some point, would you want to join me more towards once my server's built? We can have a long form discussion about this for a video.
Yeah. No, I'm up for that. I'm entirely up for that. Like I said, I'm going to be trying to do streaming from Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays, 8 p.m. I might do it a little bit earlier on Saturday. Yeah. I'm not too terribly sure. I'm still experimenting around with the concept, right? Because I'm just basically seeing like what works and what doesn't. Because I know what long-form content works on my channel, like, you know, long-form YouTube videos, not streams or shorts, but I know what long-form content works, and that's what I kind of want to focus on making that long-form content towards, is because, like, some of the videos on my channel were literally just me talking to a camera, and that can be reserved for, like, a stream. That's not something that, you know, I should upload as a video, right? It's because, like, it's not really appropriate, and, you know, basically the long-form content should be, like, more edited, cleaner, and a little more professional and coherent as well, right? Yeah. So, I don't know. I'm still toying around with my channel, and it's been a fun experience.
Yeah, and I feel that I do want to do some like content that is more discussion content. So, you know, like content where where basically we record each other like in a Discord call chatting, but like where it's chopped up and edited and stuff like that.
The thing about streaming, I've come to realize, right? Streaming is effective, not necessarily in the evening, but during the middle of the day, right? It's because when people are at work and they kind of just want to tune in and listen to a discussion in the background while they work, like that's like middle of the day. I've come to realize like streaming is the best time to do that. But the thing is, like, I have a full-time job. I'm pretty sure you have a full-time job. I'm not too terribly sure. But, you know,
I'm not employed at the moment, but I do have studies.
Yeah. So, you know, like, it really, I guess it also depends, like, as well. So, like, maybe I'll stream earlier or something like that. But, like, it seems to me that, like, the best time to stream, especially discussion type content, debates or stuff like that, or just streaming an overall person, it's like, you know, it's going to be going on for a while. It's something that people will just turn on to the background, not necessarily be paying, like, attention to the video, like, 100% of the time. Not like a long form content video.
Yeah. I am going to say that, like, yeah, that does sound good. I definitely want to get into more stream content and make more stream content, whether that's debate content or just, like, you know, me, like, shooting
debates
shit
are always fun.
Yeah.
I love having
discussion
I love
content.
debates.
You know, whether it's whether I have more discussions with you about stuff, which I think would be really fun, or or just having a
yeah.
Or just having like, you know, discussions about like all sorts of stuff, or having debates or anything like that. I think that could be fun. Now
Yeah.
will say
Yeah.
one other thing that like I am going to be doing is like and this is something that I would like to I would be happy to like if it like was in if it was like timed with your channel. It's like I like to do more content about like, hey, here's like, you know, the Marxist theory, and here's how it would be actualized, or here's how it would apply, you know.
Yeah. No. Yeah, no, Neko just posted. I don't think midday stream would be the best time for a stream. Yeah, I don't think so. I don't know. It's hard to say, right? It's because I guess it just comes down to trial and error at the end of the day, right? You try something out. If it works, yeah, do more of it. If it doesn't work out, do less of it. You know, streaming is something I'm new to. I'm just trying to figure out like how to like advertise it a little bit better. Like I'm gonna be honest, like earlier today I advertised, like I'm probably not going to do the schedule stuff. I'm just going to outright say, you know, stream starts at like 8 o'clock, you know, Tuesday, Thursday, and maybe, you know, midday on Saturday or something like that.
Yeah.
But like advertising it like before, like earlier this morning, literally didn't do much. So I think like the best time is just to focus on like a consistent schedule. But I'm still just, you know, trying this out, seeing how it works and stuff like that.
Consistent schedules can be good, but I also feel like if you are like doing content, you gotta like advertise it a bit longer before. So like usually.
See, I don't know how like long you can advertise stuff like that before. I'm not too.
I would say like maybe like 48 hours, because you do.
Okay,
get, like,
I could do that.
Because the reason like I find 48 hours tends to be good for like doing this kind of stuff is that when you do 48-hour long announcements, you give people like not only time to know about it, but you also give people time to kind of like figure out what they're doing then, and seeing if they could incorporate it or anything like that. It just like, you know, it's not too close that like people like aren't prepared for it. So if they want to see the content, it's not like it's suddenly upon them.
Yeah, no, like I'm gonna, like I said, I'm open to try out new things. Like trying out is always like the best thing. It's like, you know, I'm gonna be trying streaming out for like a month or so to see how this works out, doing Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday, to see if that does anything. Because like, you know, streaming, I'm gonna be completely honest, right? Everyone's like, oh, I'm gonna make it big as like a Twitch streamer and stuff like that. Like, no, like the thing about streaming, the reason why it kind of sucks, streaming is an interesting one, is because it is very difficult discovery is very difficult for streaming. Okay. So when it comes to streaming, people who make it decently successful are literally in the top 0.001%. It's actually much more competitive for streaming than like any other kind of like content, right? And the ones that do succeed are literally doing it all the time. They're streaming like almost every day. And so the thing is like, you have to think about discoverability. Discoverability for streaming is terrible. It doesn't exist, right? You know, if you want to expand your audience, it is very difficult unless if you have like a base that loves sharing your content, right? And I'm going to be completely honest, we're political streamers, so our content is not exactly shareable, right? You know, somebody's going to be like, yeah, this stream is cool and stuff like that, but they're not going to share it to somebody who has like a different political opinion if they have like a different political opinion with their family, right? So discoverability is a bit hard with streaming. Now with shorts are the fastest way to expand like your content, right? So I've just kind of realized that you can't stick to one platform. So like I've been because like I'm gonna be honest, like shorts have done me a lot of good service for my channel.
Yeah.
Like, and it's kind of surprising. Yankee Tanky, I know Yankee Tanky, he's on the server and stuff like that, but he's almost abandoned all his long form content in favor of shorts. Now I don't want to do that. I don't want to do purely shorts, but like a lot of people kind of underestimate like how effective shorts and you know, TikToks
absolutely are. I always like say that like the best thing to do is to have bite sizes of content in shorts, and then have corresponding long form content. So let's say, for example,
yeah.
So for example, let's say we have like this stream up. What I would do is like I would have I would have it so that like, you know, I have some shorts basically going through like the basics of like Linux and how it relates to the communist system, which we didn't really get much into today. We just ended up shooting.
Yeah. We can continue going on. I don't know how much time you got. Give me one second.
I've got all the time in the fucking world.
Yeah. All right. So yeah, no, because like this is just the chill stream.
Like, and I'm alone again. But yeah, no. YSKM says Linux is cringe. Well, looks like we found our first victim. Nah, I'm just fucking around. But yeah, oh, while that's happening, I seem to have some DMs from people. And I am now, okay, I am now, I don't know how to respond to that. Yes, the true operating system, your mum. Although the problem is I can't run your mum's operating system because she'd fill my hard drive.
All right, I am back. So, like,
yeah, while you were gone, I literally, Neko just posted your mum, and I made a "yo mama" joke right back at them.
Alrighty. But yeah, no, it's been an interesting learning experience, right? It's because like now that I've got enough videos out there as like a I'm a small content creator. I'm not gonna lie about that, right? I've enjoyed it. Like I'm not trying to become big. I like the small community I have, is because I can interact with people like on a one-to-one basis. I enjoy that. But it is kind of interesting, is because you definitely learn like the ropes the more you put out there, right? Because I can look at certain videos on my channel and be like, which ones succeeded and which ones didn't, right? You know, just based on thumbnail, title, the way I carried myself. Yeah, I don't know if I told you about that earlier, but I added like Wojak animations at the beginning of my videos, but it was kind of a cheap way to get more views, because it basically, you know, it takes 30 seconds. Someone has to watch a video for 30 seconds for it to count as a view, right? And it has a huge retention rate.
Yeah, well, one of the things I would say that is really important is like, sorry. One of the things that I would say is like important, like if you're using shorts, is to have like corresponding long form content, because if you have it so that like, let's say I was to condense this entire thing, I could, you know, talk about the points about like Linux and stuff like that, and just make short dot point type comments about them, and at the end say, if you want to know more, click the link in the description, and that will take
So funny. Yeah, that's kind of the funny thing, right? So I was adding Wojak animations, 1-minute Wojak animations to the beginnings of my videos, right? And those things are like hugely successful. Like, I swear to God, I didn't think you'd get like 120% retention rate, because I guess people are just replaying like those sections. But yeah, no, not only is it great for making your video have more views, but it all, because since your video has more views, more people will look at it, because they see it's a more popular video, so they're more likely to click on it, so it gets bumped up by the algorithm and all that sort of stuff, right?
Yeah.
But doing shorts, right? So I've been using those Wojak animations. Now, if I could actually be a little bit more consistent with uploading long-form content, but it takes a little bit of time. It's more time-consuming. Definitely long-form content is going to be a little bit more quality. But the thing is using those Wojak animations and making them the shorts, those do really well too. Is because like I got okay. You know, I don't know if you watched that video on Central Planning about where I was making fun of TERFs and stuff like that, but like that got me. It went semi-viral on TikTok.
I
got a strike on my account.
Videos. Funnily enough, I watched one of your videos.
It's okay.
I am being honest here. I have watched one.
No, it's okay, right? But there's this one interest hit for like my latest like long form content video. I had uploaded the Wojak animation short to TikTok, right? It went semi-viral. It got like 50,000 views in like an hour, and then it got a strike on my account for hate speech or something.
Yeah, I saw that bit and I was just like, you know what? Fucking base.
Yeah, I literally re-upload saying my video got taken down. I was like, dude, WTF, literal transphobia, and then that got taken down for hate speech as well. I got 2 strikes on my TikTok account.
that.
I'm probably gonna get deleted.
You're just like, hey, what the fuck? Fuck, why are you taking me down for going against transphobia?
Yeah. Like, I thought
like
TikTok was supposed to be woke.
You know
I'm
what?
so confused
Actually,
here.
I'm gonna post a GIF in the chat because I feel like this is like just the perfect GIF for it.
I love the cat in the background, by the way. That's a good cat. I like that.
Thank you. It came with the streaming software I use, Paperwave. I do plan to get like a what's it called? Sorry, I do plan to get like a custom VTube model thing. But yeah, no, that's basically TikTok's response.
Yep, yeah, they're like terrible. I hear people like TikTok is run by the Chinese Communist Party, and
which is funny like, because the guy's Singaporean.
They delete communist. Yeah, like, and they deleted like Midwestern Marx off of TikTok as well. It's like he was posting a lot of his shorts there. Well, I'm probably gonna experiment more with shorts, right? Because like shorts are an excellent way. Because like I'm gonna be honest, like the attention span of people is getting shorter and shorter, right? And like a lot of people watch.
Okay, I'm gonna disagree with you right there.
Oh, all right, go for it.
It's not that attention spans are getting shorter and shorter. It's that
more information.
It's not just that it's more information, but also that like, it's more digestible content. So, like. There hasn't really been like a drop in like the watching of longer YouTube videos, because if you look at most long YouTube videos, they weren't watched entirely in one sitting most of the time. Usually they're watched in bits because, things have changed with times now. Like, for example, short content can be consumed in areas where long form content previously couldn't. Typically you can only watch maybe like 1 or 2 videos a night that are like an hour long before you do everything else, unless you have ADHD, in which case you can watch 5 videos at once, plus have music going, plus be building a model train while also you do your taxes. No, you're not getting any of those finished for the night.
I'm guilty of basically, and the thing about YouTube Shorts is, Amelia, is that like I am guilty of fuck this. Now I'm not so guilty with TikTok, but with YouTube Shorts, I'm very guilty of just basically opening up YouTube and then just scrolling through YouTube Shorts for like half an hour and stuff like that.
No, I'm the same. I'm the same.
No, like
but I do feel like
that is where
it is also a thing where like that it's content that can be consumed in a place where it's content that, so it's got 2 advantages going at. 1, more hits of dopamine, which as a person with ADHD I understand. More dopamine, more happy, more good, yay. And before anyone says it, and if you say it, I swear to God I will bring the wrath of every single god that there is on you. No, the internet does not cause ADHD. ADHD is purely genetic. I'm saying that because there's going to be one person that's going to comment it, and I feel like heating someone.
Oh my god. Yeah, no, I know I have ADHD, so it's like all good.
Yeah, but like the thing is that like dopamine is definitely a strong thing, but it's also that the content can be consumed in more places because it's very mobile friendly, it's very quick, it's very dynamic, so people tend to consume it more than for example long form content. But
yeah, I've had people tell me that they don't even like look at a channel's long form content. They judge basically by shorts these days, and it's like that makes sense, right? It's because like when we're talking about discoverability, like streaming and all that sort of stuff, streaming has almost zero discoverability, right? Because like nobody's gonna. I mean, some people are gonna go through an hour-long stream, but why are they gonna choose your stream over somebody else's stream, right? And so how are they gonna judge by a channel? Well, shorts and TikToks are a very effective way to actually get that out. I mean, you could use Twitter too. Twitter's another great place for exposability. Like I had a friend share my stream on his Twitter. He had like 2,000 followers and something like that. That got me a lot of exposure. And so, you know, it really depends. Like discoverability is an interesting one.
Yeah, it is definitely a thing of like discoverability. One thing I will say about it is that when it comes to like the issue of discoverability, one thing that I think makes a bigger difference. So, sorry, my brain sometimes does this.
Okay.
My brain feels like it feels like my Lenovo, like my 2007 laptop did trying to run Windows 10. Slow.
Yeah. Older computers, installing Linux on older computers is probably the best thing to do, is because, like, you know, it actually runs like a decent bit faster unless you got a hard drive or something.
It runs actually a decent bit fast. Like, honestly, it feels like I only every now and then notice that the computer's old, but honestly, if I was just doing some simple word processing and I never opened up anything that was like too intense, I would never notice that it's actually that old.
Yeah.
But yeah, the thing is that just coming back to it, there is always those issues. But the other thing that like Shorts allows to do is because it's also very to the point. Like, so if you're trying to find content, then Shorts is going to be a huge advantage because it's very to the point content. You can tell
for sure.
You can tell what like someone is thinking. You know, a minute or two is not long enough to like waffle and like dart around stuff. You have to be a lot more direct.
You gotta be honest with like a lot of streamers, right? If you're like somebody who makes content just by purely streaming, you got to give them like a little bit of respect, just because like if they built their publicity through streaming, that's impressive. It's because like, you know, the discoverability for streaming is very limited, right?
Oh yeah,
you know,
there was mad respect like, there, but there's not just respect for that. It's also respect for like because the thing I would say is hardest. I would say is hardest about live streaming is the fact that you're like live for like an hour or two, and you've got to like watch what you say.
Find a way to entertain somebody, yeah. And you've got to watch what you say. You got to find a way to entertain people.
Like, for example, if I was to like accidentally like let's say during this video just say like 40 different cuss words in a row and say something that you know, I get corrected in the comments and someone tells me, oh yeah, no, that's actually a really bad thing to say. Well, here's the thing. I can't, because this is a live stream, I can't go back and edit that. Or, you know, make sure it doesn't see the light of day.
I used to be worried. I used to be worried about that, and maybe that's because I haven't really built up an audience yet for like streaming, but that's something that used to bother me, but now I kind of don't care. Like, you know, somebody, I mean, people are going to say stupid things on a live stream all the time. That's why I'm going to make that's why I'm still going to make long form content, right? You know, if you want to be hung up about something I may have said on a stream like 7,000 videos ago, like, you know, that's your prerogative. I'm going to call you an idiot. You can watch my long form content, or you can call me out on my own stream. I personally don't care at this point. Like, I'm not worried about saying something I am going to regret later on, is because you can always like say like, hey, you said this. Why did you say that? Like, okay, cool. I'll be more than willing to answer that. Or at least say maybe you'll even say like, okay, that's not what I meant to say. Here's what I actually meant to say. And, you know, this is what I actually believe in. Because like I said, it's like if you want to know my crystallized ideas, watch my long form content, is because it's going to have those ideas well crystallized in a scripted, edited video. And so, you know, that's why I say I'm not too worried about. I wouldn't worry about that either. Like, you know, I stopped caring about that. But you know.
Yeah, no, I definitely feel that for sure. It's
But yeah, no. I have a lot of mad respect for people who actually build their audience from streaming, is because there's virtually zero discoverability. Because like I look at Twitch, right? You know, how you become more discoverable on Twitch is you have to already have like a good viewer count. Otherwise, you know, you're not very discoverable. So that's the first one, right?
It
so
is definitely.
I watch. I watch Midwestern Marks, right? I love watching Midwestern Marks occasionally and whatnot, but like he's got like 30,000 subscribers, but his live streams get anywhere from 50 to 100 people whenever he does a live stream. Now, granted, he does a lot more live streams than he used to previously, but that's cool too. I kind of like I like Midwestern Marks. Haas is an interesting character because he's built his audience largely off of live streaming alone, which is impressive. But like he probably should do more long form content. I mean, he's like written 5 Substack articles at best. He definitely needs to crystallize his ideas elsewhere. If he wants to have a little bit more success.
Yeah. I will okay. One thing I will say that I've been thinking of doing with my content is trying to create content that I've noticed is lacking, especially in the Marxist-Leninist space and in the socialist space.
Sure.
Because for example, I've noticed that a lot of Marxist-Leninist content is usually discussion content and stuff like that. There's not a lot of I guess kind of Joe Rogan type content where it's a lot more casual. It's not meant to be
infrared. There's an infrared vision video a while ago. I have not seen that, but yeah, no, only reason I'm saying that, Promethean, is because, like I said, I'm half and half towards infrared. There's some takes. I like his views of progressivism. His kind of mecha tanky idea. I like that stuff, but I do not like his social conservatism at all. That is a hard pass for me. I do not like that he's socially conservative. But other than that, it's I like his. I like the progressive sentiment that he has. If he was a little bit less antagonistic to the social progressive side of the aisle, I'd probably be in more support of him. But infrared vision. I'm not sure what that is. The thing about Haas is because back when I tried to debate him back in November of last year, right when I wasn't even much of a YouTuber to begin with, I did an interview with Paul Cockshot. It was such a pain in the ass to go through 4-hour live streams at a time. I was playing them on double speed. It's no, I'll try to put. I'm going to be putting my ideas into long form content and Substack articles, and but yeah, no, it's still impressive that he's built his audience just by a live stream. That's still an impressive feat. I'm not going to knock him there because of the inconvenience, but it is impressive that he's built an audience just by purely live streaming. Because that's a very difficult thing, because it's very difficult to be discoverable. I don't know. I heard that he uses showrunners to spread his content. I don't know how true that is. That's just a rumor I've heard. But yeah, showrunners basically share a video on your behalf, kind of thing. Maybe I should try to utilize that for my content for shorts. Basically share it so you can agitate people.
Yeah,
that's a great thing about the last video is the thumbnails and titles are just deliberately provocative. An interesting thing about trolling. Speaking about trolling and spreading propaganda or whatnot, right? The more you say, okay, China's social credit system, the truth. Okay, yeah, sure. Let me take a look at that. I kind of want to take a look at that. Okay. Okay, that's 22 minutes. That's not too bad. Let's take a look. I'm gonna change screens real quick. All right, we're gonna go to browser stream. Let's take a look. Oh, I should screen share for everyone here too as well. So hold on 1 second, and we can all watch this together. Let me know if I'm not screen sharing, is because I actually do want to do the screen sharing. All right, cool. China's social credit system.
Yeah.
Very first English language articles on the Chinese system, which appeared in late 2015, is very illustrative here. The organization which prepared the article did not even operate in China, and as it turned out later and was admitted by the author himself, the article was based on rumors and speculations.
Was this made by Haas himself, or was that just somebody on his behalf? Because Yeah, no, that's kind of the thing. If that's the main way he interacts with his audience, like I said, I can't knock it, is because it is impressive that he's built an audience just by live streaming. But then again, I could be wrong. It's because he does use, quote unquote, I've heard he uses showrunners to basically spread his videos.
Yeah,
He's a group of people that helps him. Yeah, for sure. I don't doubt that, but yeah, no.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing. One thing I will say, is that the content, just getting back to the content thing, the content that I'm wanting to produce is more like more general content. Like, I feel like there's a lot of discussion content, a lot of focusing on like Marxist-Leninist theory and that, and a lot of like that kind of content, but there's not a lot of like this kind of content where it's like more casual and stuff like that. There isn't a lot of like super casual Marxist-Leninist content, which I feel is like a void that should be filled, because one thing that is gonna like introduce people to socialism better is not having like long discussion content and stuff like that, but like more casual content, more like digestible content.
Yeah, that's kind of the thing. Long discussion content, right? You know, like I said, it becomes like an opportunity cost thing, right? It's because if everyone does like a 2-hour live stream and that's the best way to actually get a hold of their ideas, like, you know, why are they going to choose your content over another person? That's why I say like everything's trending towards shorts,
but also in just general. Like if you take a look at like the most popular like Marxist-Leninist content, or the most or like the most popular socialist content, or like any of the major socialist YouTubers, there's just not a lot of casual content out there. It's a lot of heavy content. It's not very digestible for someone who's like, you know, a liberal or something. And actually, that's one thing I do like want to address, is that like I do like kind of get annoyed with the way that a lot of Marxist-Leninists like the way that they act towards liberals. Like, yeah, it's all like fun games to like go, haha, the liberals are, you know, this and that, but in reality they're people that we should be trying to bring over, and having content that is like long, informative, discursive, and that like you know, kind of like there, it's sprinkled into a lot of content where it's like, oh, you know, it's sort of like demonizing liberals, which is not something that is so much going to bring people in, but it's going to alienate a lot of people.
No, like that's true. The thing about like that's kind of the interesting thing. Like this is like one of my hangups with Haas, is that, you know, there's this false dichotomy growing within socialist groups, is that, you know, because, you know, the powers that be, the state, the capitalist class, are not all of a sudden socially progressive, that means like social progressivism is inherently capitalistic or bourgeois. And this is a false dichotomy, is because we can look at literally 40 years ago where, you know, the ruling class was actually very socially conservative, very antagonistic toward these things. And so, you know, this is not reflective of bourgeois consciousness in totality. Okay. So that's one thing I do not like about like the current, you know, dichotomy that is emerging because of the culture war. Most people assume that the working class is synonymous with, you know, conservative, which was something started by Trump, and so that's in totality false. But yeah,
and I do agree. Like Promethean made a good point here, that like the ruling class does use it to keep people divided, and it's something that like as like people who are trying to bring people over to like the Marxist-Leninist thing, and trying to like educate people about our position, is something that we've got to be aware of. The fact that like you know, the fact that like, you know, these groups are, and you've also got to, I guess the biggest thing you got to keep in mind is that like for a lot of people who are like conservative or are liberal, is that they believe that they're doing good. They believe that what they're doing is genuinely a good thing.
yeah.
So it's about acknowledging that, and not realizing that a lot of them aren't evil people per se. I mean, I used to be a Republican, like, you know, full MAGA, like far right, and
Too.
yeah, at that point, I genuinely believed that like it was a good position, and that like I was doing good things. I mean, yeah, I was denying who I really was back then too, and that's kind of what pushed me away. But it's that kind of thing of like a lot of them do believe that they're doing genuinely good things. Same with liberals, especially when you take a look at like movements like a lot of the people in like Black Lives Matter and that they are focused on the issue that like on a lot of these like issues like for example Black Lives Matter and that's because of the fact that those are issues that genuinely affect them, and it's issues that we should be focusing on, because it's all fun and games to say like, oh yeah, class is the most important distinction, but there's no point in saying that and talking about class when the current system is constantly trying to not only put down things like, as you said, the ruling class has been quite socially conservative this whole time, and that hasn't changed. They are still quite like not just socially, not just like fiscally conservative or anything like that, but extremely socially conservative.
I get like 3 new subscribers. I'm pretty sure like someone here might have done that, but it's like I always get confused. I'm like I have no idea how to look up like whenever I get new subscribers, like where they came from, so I can get an idea of like who was it and what for, what reasons or something like that. It's like I just posted like a bunch of videos and like a bunch of channels, and I was like, I know somebody subscribed outside of that, and I'm pretty sure like Poggers and the American Promethean were already subscribed to the channel. It's like I just see the numbers go up. I'm like, okay, like where did they come from? It's like I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh well, but yeah, no, it's all trial and error. I'm still just trying to figure out this channel stuff. I enjoy doing it. It's fun. I'm not trying to turn this into like a professional job or nothing like that. I work a full-time job and I'm perfectly like happy with that. It's just it's a learning experience. So
yeah, definitely. Yeah.
So we've been streaming for about 1:30. Do you want to go ahead and cut it off here?
Yeah, I think we're good to cut it off here. I'd definitely like to stream with you again some other time for sure. It's been really fun, and
it's been a chill discussion. We had some people listen in on stage, more on the stage than in like the actual channel, which it's a difference. We'll see how this works out. I'll be streaming Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays, so like any of those days I'm up for a collaboration.
Oh yeah, I'm up for collaboration a lot of the time too. Like even if it becomes a regular thing, I'm always happy to do that. Because like it's just been fun to like have a casual conversation rather than like debate topics and stuff like that. Like
yeah. One of the things I didn't like about my debate with the Kareem, like even though it did very well and got a whole bunch of views, the thing I don't like about debates a lot of the time is because they become overly antagonistic and people are just trying to get like a quick dunk on somebody rather than having an honest to God conversation. And I just want to lay this like right now. If you're looking to be a debate bro, and you consider yourself a Marxist, you're not a real Marxist, is because a part of the dialectic is reconciling contradictions within the arguments of the opponent in an honest way. So
for sure.
So a good debate's going to look more like a discussion at the end of the day.
Yeah, and even then, like, just having casual discussion like this where it's not essentially thing, and discussions are more constructive. Even discussions among people who may agree is, I think, an important thing. That's one thing I like about the Discord server that you've got here with the People's Toothbrush. It's the fact that there's regular nice discussion about. There's not a lot of debate stuff, and that's honestly quite a nice thing. Just that kind so just that kind of thing of there's a lot of discussion here, but there isn't a lot of debate stuff going on. Like a good difference would be between this and the politics server, where the politics server is heated discussion and debate, and it gets your blood boiling, but does it really achieve anything?
It doesn't really change anyone's minds. So that's the interesting thing. The People's Toothbrush has been kind of an interesting server of mine, is because it's almost been about a year since I turned it into the People's Toothbrush. I think it was August 4th of last year when I started orienting it towards politics. But it's an interesting one is because it's like the voice chats are way more active than the actual text channel. So a lot of people join, they think the server's dead is because nobody's really texting, but the main activity on the server has always been the voice chats. And, more often than not, the discussions in the voice chats tend to be, rather constructive and have an honest discussion. I usually weed out the people who come into voice chat troll. Like, I remember there's this one person on this server, and they were a typical Wignat, and all they would do is just spout racist shit, and though they didn't spout it right off the bat, is because they'd be banned immediately. But they like to press the bounds. Like, that's kind of the interesting thing with a lot of far rightists that try to sneak onto the server, is they try to push buttons and press. They like to bend the rules to see what they can get away with, and they kind of push for more like as time goes on.
Yeah,
they do that all the time, and every once in a while there ends up being a purge, just because they basically push out all the decent activity away.
Yeah, and I feel like that's kind of the thing. Although I also feel like the community here is really good at kind of shutting that down.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, no, I'd be happy to do this kind of stuff again sometime. No matter what the discussion is, it's always fun to have discussions and genuinely hash out issues in a more calm way, a more casual way.
I know for sure.
This entire thing was about Linux, but we've kind of
derailed.
Well, yeah,
it's okay.
It's not like we've derailed, but it's not like it's been like this whole thing of it's been derailed, therefore it's all going to shit and stuff. Nah, it's a thing of it kind of derailed, but we had fun doing it, and that's an important thing, because I always tell people, if you're having fun doing something, if you're genuinely having fun and enjoying what you're doing, that's going to show on not only on camera when you're doing long form content, but it's also going to show in live streams. If you're not having fun, that's going to rub off on your audience. If you are genuinely not enjoying what you're doing, it's going to show, because you're not going to be engaged, and you're not going to be dynamic in handling things and everything, and it's going to affect your content. So I feel like it's important.
If I were to think about the ideal live stream scenario that I'd like, not necessarily a giant audience, but an audience or a group of people that I'm basically just casually hanging out with, because I actually do like that kind of atmosphere. And so, we'll see what happens. I'm going to definitely be streaming more often, 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. But, we'll move on from there. I'm available any of those times. Just hit me up if you want to have a stream or a collab or something. So, yeah.
Yeah, sounds good. Maybe we can collab on a piece of long form content.
Oh, that works too. Yeah, we can always discuss about that. I usually, I can teach you, I've kind of got an algorithm what I'm going to do for long form content from here on out, is because it does work, and it actually brings a substantive amount of growth.
I would love to learn about it.
Alrighty.
Yeah. No, it's been really fun, and I'm really glad that you've had me on.
No, thank you.
No problem. Thank you so much. This has been really good. Yeah.
Alrighty, I'm gonna go ahead and address the stream, but if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. I don't know if anybody goes through an hour and 30 minutes of footage to get to the end and all that sorts of stuff, but if you do, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. You guys have a good evening.
Yeah, and I'll do my outro too. Thank you everyone for watching. As Alice said, like, share, subscribe. Feel free to post comments down below, just talking about what you thought of it. I'm always happy to hear things out, and I'd love to see discussion in the comments. I don't have a streaming schedule yet, but once I have one up, I will be talking about it. Also, my Discord server is still under construction, but once it's up, links will be in the description. Thank you all for watching. Yeah, go check out Alice's channel. I'll put a link in the description below. I didn't immediately. Actually, you know what? Just so I don't forget, right now I will go ahead and put I'll put a link to Alice's channel in the chat, because I know that the chat does live replays. But yeah, go check it out. Link is right there, and yeah. Thank you all for watching. If you're watching this after the fact, again, leave comments. I'd love to see engagement down there. And you all have a nice day.
Sweet. I'm gonna